We're here, we do it once, we do it right, and we do it safe. So yesterday I took the top plate off of the Skag, and the plastic bit on this knob decided to come off. So I'm probably gonna have to get a new one of these. Pain in the butt. Order it from Skag. It'll probably take like 3 weeks to come in. You know, little things like that that just get under your skin sometimes. But it's a tool. Things like this happen. Alright, so we are on our way to the first commercial account. I like this commercial account a lot because it pays very well for the time spent on the property. I can pretty much get the whole property done in 10 minutes or less by myself. And that is unloading the trailer to having the trailer loaded back up and ready to drive away, about 10 minutes or less, which is pretty cool. And it pays 32 bucks. I like that. That's good money for time spent. Usually I like to charge around $1 a minute per job, depending, for normal weekly maintenance, about $1 a minute. That's what works for me, and it's sort of kind of acceptable for the area. My area, people don't like to pay a lot of money for lawn care in my area, and I'm talking some people will pay sub $30 per acre. I mean, multiple companies in this area will cut acreage for under 30 bucks an acre, and I mean, you can't compete with that. If it's a wide open field with no trimming, no nothing else, and it's an acre or 2 acres, I mean, it's minimum $45 an acre, and even that is just like giving it away almost. So I'm thinking next year, minimum price for acreage per acre should be, man, in my area, about 60 to 80 bucks, no exceptions. I think that's fair for acreage. So, and that's starting price. That's not, if you have 10,000 square foot of fencing, the price goes up from there. But pricing's weird. I don't like pricing. It's a pain, and it can be a hassle sometimes. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But people are so cheap in my area, and what bothers me is the fact that people don't seem to understand that we put over $10,000 worth of equipment on their property to service it, and they're trying to haggle and cause problems over $5 in a price. And it's like, we got insurance to pay for, equipment to pay for, everything. I mean, do these people go to the dentist and say they have a $30 cavity? I mean, come on. Getting your grass cut is a luxury service. Luxuries aren't cheap. You know what I mean? You're not gonna go on a cruise in the Bahamas for 50 bucks. It just doesn't work that way. You have to pay for luxury, and when you get to sit inside in your air condition and watch someone like me and many others go out there and cut your grass with 120 heat index, to me that's a luxury. That is 100% a luxury, and you gotta pay for it. So we do the best we can. There's some properties I need to put a new estimate or a new bid on next year, just because I underbid them. I got one property, about 14,000 square foot, fenced in backyard, decent amount of trimming. I'm cutting it for 27 bucks, and that's just, man, I'm nickel and diming myself on that. So I need to put a new bid in for that property. I need to be at around, because I give them 10% military discount. I give all first responders, physicians, military personnel, whatever, all that genre of people, I give them all 10% off. That's a bad idea. Well, that's what I do. So take it as you want. Well, I might actually bump their price up to about $40 and then give them that 10% off. So that way, at least I'm in the 30s. And they said they've been very happy so far with their service. So we'll see how that goes over. Because I'm gonna next year, my minimum price per property minimum is gonna be $30, no questions. If they don't want to pay $30 for it, well, they can go feed some other kid's drug addiction down the road for $10-15 to cut their grass. That's fine. Just being funny here. But yeah, we're on our way to the first commercial property. This is going to be property 1 of, I think, 10 today. And we're have a 100% chance of rain by noon. And I think it's already like, what, pushing 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm on a time limit today, kind of. There ain't no way I'm going to get them all done by then. That's by myself. That's impossible. So we're going to see how we can fight the weather and make the best of what we got, you know. I will cut in the rain to some extent. If it's a downpour or there's crazy lightning and stuff, you know, I'm not about to take a risk of getting barbecued on a lawnmower with, you know, 5.5 gallons of gas sitting right next to me. You know, that's dumb. I'm not gonna do that. But if it's raining or whatever, I'll cut in the rain. But a downpour or bad lightning and stuff, nah, not worth it. Then people can wait till an off day. I always save Saturdays and Sundays as either my days off or my makeup days in case we get bad weather, rain, whatever. So that's that. I'm gonna try to get as much footage as I can today, you know, within reason. I mean, if it's pouring rain, I'm not about to put this camera out in the rain. It's not waterproof or nothing like that. So I might be able to get some shots through the windows of the car and leave it in the car if it starts to rain a little bit. Otherwise, you know, this might be a pretty short video, but yeah. So about trimmer lines, I was doing some research. I know I talked about Gator line a little bit in one of my other videos about trimmer lines, and you know, Gator line's all right. I think their 105 runs a little bit thick for what it is for the square Gator line. So I wouldn't use 105 in my normal trimmers for maintenance, just because you need more, you know, more throttle, use up more gas and this and that just to get the job done. It's not quite as efficient. I would probably get that Gator line in 95,000s. When I put the 105,000s in the 560, it fit almost like the 130 did in the little holes drilled in the spool. It was a pretty snug fit with the 105 square, and I think it's because it's corner to corner, or no, not corner to corner. I think it's side to side that it's 105 maybe. I don't know how they sized it up. But anyway, it was thick for what it was. And that stuff, it almost liquefied, literally liquefied in the spool of that 560. That machine has so much power. It just, I don't know. So what I did, it's coming in the mail today. The Oregon, the Platinum Gator line. It's not a whole lot. I don't see anybody on YouTube using it really. It's the blue Gator line. That's the Super Twist. Platinum Gator line ST, the Super Twist. I got some of that in 105. And like the version 1 of the Black Diamond, they took the 95 and they twisted the 95 and it shrunk it down. So it's like maybe an 85 or a 90. It's smaller than what it is for the 105. It was all right. It didn't cut as good as I wanted to. I felt like I had to go a little bit slower for it to cut and get the job done. So I quit using that in my normal trimmers I use just for regular maintenance on lawns. But as I was reading about it, the Platinum Gator line, that blue coating they put on it is actually to prevent welding or melting of the line in the spool, which I found was interesting. I was doing some reading on it. Now, that coating can withstand up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit before it starts to melt. So I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna try that. We're gonna get it in the 130,000s. I get a 1 pound spool of it. That should be in the mail today. And we're gonna put it in the 560, and then I'm gonna go to the field if it's not raining this evening, I'm gonna go to the field and I'm gonna test it out. And I'm gonna run that machine, 10, 15 minutes, wide open throttle and some really thick, nasty stuff. And then we're gonna pull that spool apart and we're gonna see if there's any sign of welding, sticking together, anything like that. Because that only happens when I'm running that machine, wide open throttle, under heavy load. That's when I get the welding. If it's wide open throttle and it's not, it's not losing any RPMs and it's just cutting through it, I don't really have that problem. But man, when that machine starts to bog a little bit and you're under heavy load, whoo, that line, it just becomes one piece in that spool. So we're gonna test out that Platinum Gator line and see how well. And if it doesn't weld, then I'm probably gonna buy a 3-pound spool of it at 130 and see how it works. Because I have enough horsepower on that machine to make it cut. That machine is specifically reserved for the tall stuff or large areas where I can't get a push mower that needs a trimmer. It's like I can put all the weight on my shoulders with the harness and then just use the bike handle and go back and forth. So that makes it more comfortable, less fatigue, things like that. Alright, so I'm starting to see some raindrops. What time is it? Let's see here. Almost 10 o'clock. Got the commercial property done. We got this other residential property done. It's mow only, so that only takes me about 15 minutes to mow all that. That pays $32 as well, so that's $64 in less than an hour. So we're making budget. I'm on my way to the church now. It's a big church. It's not like a typical looking church. They broadcast their sermons, whatever. It's a pretty good sized property. It takes me about an hour and a half ish to do. There's a whole back part that's fenced in by the big air conditioning units back there. That's all weed eater. Push mowing it, I wouldn't do that. First of all, I don't want to take up space on the trailer with a push mower for one property, and there's chunks of concrete and stuff all on the ground, so that's weed eater only on that. And I usually just get the 560 and I cut it all down. Overkill for power, yes. Comfortability, like I said before, that's the whole point. So I'm hoping I don't get rained on too bad. I know we have a 100% chance of absolute downpour later in a couple hours. I'm gonna try to get as much done as I can in that time frame. It is what it is. So let's all go on ahead and get to the church now. All right, everyone, just got done weed eating behind the big white fence in the back. Got this locked back up. These are the Green Touch hole saw mounts for the shaft is so thick. I know, right? Go ahead and laugh it out. Waiting on the jokes. No, really, the shaft is so thick on this thing, it won't fit in the normal trimmer blocks to fit on my rack. So another $110 shipped. Got these two little pieces of aluminum with a lockable sliding piece on it. So, all right, I got a question. This green stuff up by the engine, how does it get there? How do you get this green tinge all the way up by the engine like that? I'm curious to know how that gets there. Here's this part of the church. And And we got all the curbs out there by the street, and it wraps around to the other side of the building there, plus the back side. So we're gonna get to it. I'm not setting up cameras or anything out here because it's gonna pour rain any minute, and I don't wanna be far away from the camera and have it pour rain and ruin it. All right, well, I said it was gonna rain, and the rain is here. We're not done mowing yet. We got to trim around the whole perimeter on both sides of the curbs, and we're gonna be soaking wet by the time we're done. I don't quit, and if it starts raining, I don't return later. We do it now, we're here, we do it once, we do it right, and we do it safe. We'll get back at you once we're finished up. All right, so church is done, still raining. Equipment's trashed, messy, super wet outside. So, off to the next 7 properties, and then we'll be done for the day after that. All right, we got a break in the rain. You guys remember this property, the last spring cleanup before mowing season, that video. We cut this one at 3-inch. So, let's get to it.
Henny, I'm drinking a drum. Money that I don't accept.
All right, so got all 10 properties done for the day. So I figured go ahead and close this video out with an unboxing video. This one says there's awesome inside. This one has a burn mark on the front. For anybody wondering, it's Benchmade 535. And I didn't even need to use it on that one. We got the Black Diamond, 3-pound spool of that, and 105. I like this stuff for my style of trimming and what I do with it. This is really good stuff. I like it. I'm impressed by it. So this is a perfect trimmer line for me. I don't do a ton of edging with the trimmer. I'm not hitting up. When I get up against concrete, rocks, stones, bricks, whatever, I feather that throttle. The sharp edges on this allows me to feather the throttle, so I don't have to keep the RPMs up, and therefore, just eat through line like crazy. So this stuff works really good for me. I like it. The Platinum Gator line in 130. I think I talked about this earlier because it resists welding. This blue coating on here is supposed to be resistant to heat up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm looking forward to trying this out and some of the heavier stuff out in the field out back, which we're going to do a video on, to see just how weld resistant this stuff is. So whenever I run out of the Pentagon line I got in there now, we'll do a video and test this stuff out and see if it will resist welding under load. It's time to go in, get something to eat, cool down, get a shower, spend some time with the kids, and call it a day. So as always, don't forget to give a thumbs up, subscribe, and until next time, we'll see you all on the flip side.